Good morning.
Are the 4.7 more jabs boosters?
The vast majority of those will be boosters, but they're also for people who become newly eligible, kids turning 12, people who may not have taken the opportunity to be vaccinated before next year, so we've got enough for them. And also it does include about 1 million doses that will be for opening up to that 5 to 11 group, pending the approval of that.
Right, twofold question. When do the 5-plussers get jabbed?
Well, it won't be this year. It will be 2022, and the process around approvals and the decision by Cabinet will be this year. But it's then making sure we're all good to go with having the vaccine available. That's a key thing, and you can imagine there's a lot of interest internationally, but it's certainly a part of our discussions with Pfizer, which are almost daily. And then we've already started the planning for the rollout for that group.
So those dates aren't locked in terms of arrival of the vaccine?
Not yet, because we've just agreed the 4.7 million doses for next year, and then we work with Pfizer on the dates of delivery.
So we still don't have a date for the boosters?
Oh, well, they start to arrive. They'll arrive right through next year. What I would say is,
so we're not doing boosters till next year.
Oh no, we've still got 3 million doses in the country from this year's order. So our plan is to start the boosters this year.
When?
And it will be well this side of Christmas, and I would imagine before the end of November. We're well down the track of getting advice through to ministers. Oh well, the first thing is we've got to follow a proper process, and we have got an application from Pfizer for that third dose, the booster dose. So that's almost finalised. We've got advice from our technical advisory group, and that's been finalised today. And then we get a decision from ministers, and then we're good to go.
But if you got jabbed in February, you're a mile overdue.
Actually, the best trial that's been done, in fact, the only randomised controlled trial just published 2 weeks ago by Pfizer, or made public by Pfizer, not yet published, the median time between the second and third doses was 11 months, and actually there's no one who's been vaccinated in New Zealand.
So by 11 months, you're going to have a booster in arms for those who need it?
Yeah, and it'll probably be a shorter period of time. It'll be somewhere between 6 and 12 months will be the minimum interval.
A two-part question also. Given that these are the boosters and it is Pfizer, what happened to the idea that Novavax was a booster?
Well, there was some discussion about that. I should say that Novavax is not approved or being used anywhere in the world yet.
No, but they've submitted this morning, haven't they? Well, when you say anywhere in the world, it's been approved by Indonesia.
Well, that may be so, but from my understanding of their studies, they still haven't quite finished their trials.
Okay, so they've submitted to us, so we're never going to use Novavax, or we will?
We will see. We have got a very good vaccine. Pfizer's been used with hundreds of millions of people around the world, and it's a very effective vaccine. So we're confident in it.
Would Novavax
and the only studies that have been looked at the use of a booster after a 2-dose Pfizer course is with a further dose of Pfizer. So that's where the direction we'll go.
Would Novavax partially cure your anti-vax problem you're facing in this country, given its makeup?
I'm not sure. I do know there are some people, and it's a small group of people, but some people really do have a worry about an mRNA vaccine, and they would like an alternative. And, of course, we've already approved 2 alternatives, the Johnson & Johnson one, or Janssen one, and AstraZeneca. And, we're looking to have another one available, and there'll be some announcements about that, forthcoming.
When?
But Novavax is still a long way down the track.
Okay, so as an alternative, will there be an alternative, and if there is, when?
That is the plan, and as I say, no final decision made, but it will be within the next few weeks.
News Hub last night, 600 people tested positive. Most of them came back too slowly, not within 24 hours. Why?
Oh, look, when there's a really high volume of testing being done, we do distribute tests around the motu, around the country, and it does take longer for some to come back. The vast majority come back, especially those ones that are high priority, come back well within that 24 hours.
A third don't, though.
Some that are over that.
A third didn't.
Yes, in a period of time when there was high demand. So obviously that's something we're constantly working on, and it's a daily conversation about how we can speed up the turnaround time.
But we've been into this for almost 2 years now. The problem with it is it runs the risk of spreading the virus further, doesn't it?
Well, remember once people have been tested, they are isolating until they get that result.
Okay. How many cabinet meetings, by the way, have you been to?
I don't know the exact number. All I do is attend when there is the discussion, only when there is a discussion about alert level moves, and I'm there for the discussion, but not for the decision making.
David Seymour claims it's 17 out of 46. Would that be about right?
I honestly wouldn't know. I'd have to check.
Have you ever seen any other head of department apart from yourself there?
Yes, there has been, particularly early on in the outbreak, when we were, March, April last year, when big decisions were being made, particularly things like closing the borders and locking down the country.
This year?
Other heads of the department. I can't recall.
Would the answer be no?
I honestly
Surely, if you're standing in a cabinet meeting and you're the only one there, you would know you're the only one there?
Well, I am there just for, cabinets discuss a large number of items on their agenda. I am only there for the discussion around alert level decisions, and that is because I provide a briefing of the very latest information around cases and the outbreak.
Are you in all effect a pseudo-cabinet minister?
Oh, heck no. I'm a public servant, and I have been for
But unusual for a public servant to be in a cabinet meeting?
Well, that may be so, but these are unusual times.
November 15 school date, any closer?
That's a decision for the Minister. I'm sure there'll be an announcement.
Have you advised him?
Our team has done a risk assessment, which they did yesterday. That's been pulled into advice to inform both ministers and, of course, to our colleagues in the Ministry of Education so that schools can be ready if a decision is made to go with that date.
What's the advice?
Our advice has always been that the risks can be managed comfortably within schools, that schools themselves are a low-risk setting. But what does happen, of course, when kids go back to school is parents then go back to the workplace and there's a lot more movement around. So that is one of the things we've provided advice on, is how to mitigate that risk.
When are we getting the Vax app?
In the next couple of weeks, really. Well, the next few weeks, well before the end of November.
Couple of weeks when? You got a date?
Before the end of November.
Before the end of November, we will have an app up and running that when you go into the mall, you'll be able to work out whether you're vaxxed or not vaxxed.
That's correct.
Ashley Bloomfield, appreciate your time as always, Director General of Health, 7:45.